Yo, Headliner Nation, it is the end of the week. Welcome in to our Tailgate Weekend Update show. Got a lot of good stuff for you. I've got some updated news that we need to talk about. Jake's going to rip open a Pristine box. Tater is here as always. Mack's going to be talking about his Friday Flyers. And then Jake and Ethan will be running in to the Show Us Your Teams segments. Let's hop into it. What news do we need to update you all on right now? For first and foremost, Amari Cooper did not participate in practice today, officially listed as questionable this week. He is still expected to play. Based on reports right now, he will still be suiting up this weekend. I would say as of right now, y'all are still good to continue to run Amari Cooper out there if that was your plans. Saquon Barkley, he was limited today in practice, but he is trending towards not playing. He hasn't been listed as doubtful. He is officially questionable, but it sounds like based on what they're saying from Giants camp right now, he may not play this week. So if you own Saquon Barkley, you might want to be looking for a backup option for him if you need one. Now, Matt Breida is somebody that you could possibly grab. Keep an eye on that, but we need to just be keeping an eye on Saquon Barkley. Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks, both of them look like they are going to be out this weekend. They are both trending towards not playing. Not listed as out yet, but doesn't look like either of them will be going this week. Kadarius Toney is limited right now with, with that injury that he suffered a couple of weeks ago, but he could play. They are hoping that they will have him back this week. So if Kadarius Toney does get back out there this week, kind of what I talked about with Juju Smith-Schuster a couple of times, they spread the ball around so much, I feel like the upside is limited, and that is why we might not see that great of a ceiling from Juju this week. Mike Williams is a full participant in practice today. It sounds like he is going to play this week, listed as questionable, but he should be good to go this week. It sounds like there's always a chance of re-aggravation. Keep that in mind. But if you are just absolutely trounced by Mageddon and you don't have anybody else with higher upside, I'm okay running Mike Williams out there as a wide receiver too this week. Hayden Hurst is expected to miss this week. Doesn't sound like he's going to be playing. Leonard Fournette was added to the injury report late this week. Sounds like it is a foot issue, limited participant. There's been a couple of reports that he's trending towards not playing. I don't know how accurate those are. Those are not coming from any sort of reliable sources from what I've seen so far, but it is something that we definitely need to monitor. If you own Rachaad White, he will become probably a start this week with no Leonard Fournette. Joe Mixon is expected to be back this week. And from a couple of things that I've seen from beat writers, it sounds like he's going to take over the lead role. There was a little bit of worry that with the way Samaje Perine has played, that when Mixon came back, that you would see a little bit more of a split than what we've been used to. But based on a couple of the beat reporters that I've seen out there on Twitter, it sounds like Joe Mixon is going to have his normal role when he comes back this week. So keep an eye on that. Me, if I'm starting Joe Mixon, I'm probably just a little bit weary of that ceiling. Hopefully he can get some of the targets that he was seeing prior to the concussion. I don't know if that will necessarily happen. So again, we're hoping for a lot of volume. We're going to be careful with it coming back this week. Treylon Burks has officially been ruled out in the concussion protocol. He will not be ready to go this week. Michael Carter was a full participant. He's going to be back with Bam Knight this week, splitting some touches. Michael Carter, that's going to be an interesting one because Knight played very well last week, and he played, decently well a couple of weeks ago when he came in and helped out as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that split happens this week, and we'll talk about that more on the live show coming up. And then Darrell Henderson Jr. was waived by the Jacksonville Jags. Wasn't there very long. Really was signed kind of as depth after Travis Etienne went down with his injury, but he seems to be fine, so that's probably why they decided to move on from him. There's some updates for you. Hopefully I got through enough for ones that you guys were looking for. Doc Turner, he put out a video already today talking about injuries. So if you haven't seen that one, make sure you go check that one out because he's got a lot of injury updates for you in that one as well. But as we do every single week, we've got a sweet box from Pristine Auction that we're going to pop open. So Jake, let us know what goodies we're going to be taking a look at.
Awesome, appreciate it, Kyle. And you better believe we still have some fire items left in our Pristine auction mystery box they've been hooking us up with all year long. Don't forget, if you want to be eligible for any of the giveaways we do from now until the end of time, you need to make sure you have your free. It costs you nothing. The free account signed up at pristineauction.com using the referral code Headliners. When you do so, they're going to put themselves a nice little $10 credit into your account that you can use on a future purchase if you so choose. But more than anything, you get to be eligible for all of our giveaways. We've been giving away things every week of the year. Just in the last couple weeks, we've given away a DeAndre Hopkins signed jersey, a George Kittle football, a Joe Burrow signed football, a Stephon Diggs helmet, a Lamar Jackson jersey. Between YouTube and Discord, giveaways are just flying out the door. But what are we gonna go with here this week? Well, it's been in camera shot for a long time, and I feel like now is the time to let go of a big item, because we like big items around here, right? We like big items and we cannot lie. So let's just venture over this way and grab this. How about a ginormously signed, I have no idea the actual size, Justin Herbert custom framed, autographed. You can see it right there. This thing is autographed by Justin Herbert. You better believe we're all gonna be feeling fancy if this is hanging up on your wall right here. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at the fire we've been giving away here as of late. Big thanks to our friends over at pristineauction.com. Like I said, the link is down below in the description to Pristine Auction. Make sure you have your free account signed up using the referral code Headliners, because you never know in the next week when we're going to be announcing the giveaway for this bad boy right here. Looking forward to it. But for now, back to you, Kyle.
Oh, can you honestly like comment down below and tell me that you wouldn't want that hanging up at your house? Because I definitely would. You're going to want to make sure you've got that Pristine Auction account set up, because that's going to be an awesome gift for somebody. Moving from Pristine Auction to the man, the myth, the legend, and hopefully he's doing better this week after being physically assaulted by Ethan in the video last week. Tater, what weather updates do we have going on?
Well, hey there, everybody. This is Tater Miles coming to you from what I can only assume is one of the finer garbage establishments somewhere in central North Carolina. But thanks to that doctor that you all love so much, now I have to thumb my way home. So, but this morning when I woke up, I was rummaging around here and I did happen to find a beer. This is, from what's on the can, a Sycamore Caribbean tomato stout. It is 7%. This is made in Charlotte, North Carolina, so maybe I'm somewhere close to there. Dark character, extra hops preserve this traditional West Indies beer during long high seas voyages. It's meant to pillage and plunder. Got the skull and crossbones there. It's room temperature for the room that I'm currently in, which is the Earth. Ooh. Now that is a really bold stout. I love that. If you're into really bold stouts, it is smooth, but there's a bite to it, and I like that. I think it's always good when you can find a stout that's got a bit of a bite to it. It's imagine if you had, well, it tastes very similar to like a Guinness, somebody you're familiar with, but it's just like if you put twice the alcohol in a Guinness and ran that past your throat. That's what this would be like. Let's give that a 7.9, mostly just because of the situation that I'm in right now. Listen to me, and listen good. I'm going to find that doctor. I'm going to his house. This isn't over, buddy.
From Little Tater to Big Mack, Matt Galloway's got some Friday Flyers this week. He is going to be talking about a few players that you might be able to grab here late in the week that might actually help you out.
Hey, Atlanta Nation, what's good? It's your boy Big Mac. Yo, I'm back again with the Friday Flyers. That's 5 guys that if you got room on your bench, stash them away and get ahead of the waiver wire. So listen, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, first player up I want to talk about is a player that I talked about weeks ago on this very same show, right? It's Isaiah Likely. Now, look, we all know Lamar Jackson went down with an injury. Don't know really how long he's going to be out. So Tyler Huntley's coming in. He's going to benefit from Greg Roman's system. Lamar has kind of outgrown it right now, but Tyler Huntley has shown that, when you shorten the field, he can work wonders. Well, we know in the offseason, actually the preseason, Tyler Huntley had this rapport with Isaiah Likely, and it was superb. He displayed and showcased the rookie tremendously. And we all know what happened last year with when Lamar went down with an injury, and Mark Andrews and Tyler Huntley had somewhat of a similar type of rapport. Actually, when Tyler Huntley was under the center, Mark Andrews was hyper targeted with, targets. So I think that offense is still going to continue to do the same thing. They always run 12 personnel. So like I said, they're going to shorten the field. Isaiah Likely, he's going to be used as another pass catching weapon. So go ahead and get ahead of the curve and get him on your bench. Next up is Tony Jones Jr., running back from the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker, DJ Dallas, these guys are dealing with injuries. They're both banged up right now. Not sure if either one of them is going to be able to play this week. Tony Jones pretty much is the next man up, plain and simple. But here's the thing. We know old man Pete loves to run the rock. That's just one thing that he does. That's a staple, and it has been and always will be in a Pete Carroll system. So they're going to use a volume-based system. Geno's been playing well. You got great outside weapons, so you're going to have something complimentary, in the backfield. Tony Jones Jr., he came in last week, had a pretty decent game, saw a few targets. The thing is, like I said, it's about volume right now and the health. So Tony Jones is probably the healthiest back that they have. They brought in Wayne Gallman, not really sure how much work he's going to get, if any. He's not really assimilated to the system as of yet. So Tony Jones Jr. is a dart throw, but again, you want a running back within an offense that's gonna run the rock. All right, next up, we want to go out there to Houston. We want to talk about a quarterback carousel that's been going on. So, out with the old, in with the new. Deshaun Watson just revisited his old former team. I'm gonna keep my hands off of this situation, as some people should have kept their hands off, if you get what I mean. But at any rate, Davis Mills is back under center. So with Nico and Brandon Cooks both dealing with little nagging injuries, Chris Moore is the guy that I'm talking about right now, the wide receiver. He's came in, he saw heavy target share weeks 9 and 10, and he averaged about 10 to 14 PPR points a game. Now Davis Mills, he's going to take shots down the field, because they're going to try to free up, Pierce. That's really their main weapon. But again, you got to have some type of semblance of a passing game. And with those guys banged up, Chris Moore could come in and, show some signs of life. So like I said, Davis Mills, he's going to air the ball out, go out there, get Chris Moore, and you never know. Next up, I want to talk about Chig Aquano, tight end from the Tennessee Titans. So we know Treylon Burks, he's dealing with a concussion situation. Not sure, probably not going to play this week. So now Tennessee is down a big body receiver. Well, Chig has come in. He's becoming a deep threat. He's seen at least one reception of 40 plus yards in 3 of the last 5 games. Austin Hooper is still going to be effective and active in his system. But Aquano is starting to get a little rapport with Tannehill. And they're going to use that 12 personnel like they always do. And Aquano is a big body receiver. He's going to be one of those guys that Tannehill will probably look for deep over the zone, to try to free up Derrick Henry. And he's got sure hands. So he's somebody that you might want to take a look at, especially going into the playoffs. You want to have somebody, and tight end is so volatile right now. So he can come in as a flex play and possibly even be a low end tight end too, just depending on the situation. But like I said, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and you want to get a piece of pass catching offenses. And Aquano, he's looking pretty good. All right, guys, last but not least, this is a sort of a deep stash. And what I mean by that is this guy's out on IR right now, but he's due back week 16, and that's Khalil Herbert. Now, the reason why I'm high on Khalil Herbert, and I think you should jump ahead of the waiver wires, because right now he's about 35% owned in most leagues, Yahoo especially. A lot of people are forgetting about him. So especially if you are deep, and you're going to make a run, right? You're looking like you're going into the playoffs. You want to have a guy that you can plug in at a flex, maybe even a running back too. Khalil Herbert, we know what he is in this offense. Him and Montgomery kind of neck and neck as far as carries are concerned. But the thing about Khalil Herbert, he's more of a north-south power runner, and he's so effective in the red zone. And again, going forward, the last couple of games is superb. He's got like the bottom tier run defenses, the week 16 and 17. So you want a piece of that. So go out, stash him away. And like I said, you might even have a lottery ticket sitting there waiting. You can just plug in your flex. All right, guys, listen, that was the Friday Flyers for this week. I appreciate it once again. Listen, we're down to the nitty gritty. Good luck to everybody going forward. Hope you do well. I know if you are part of Headliner Nation, you're going to do well, because we're going to keep giving you this fire. You know what I'm saying? So until next time, peace, blessings, salute.
My man, Mack, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for giving us those waiver wire flyers this week. And finally, the segment that you all come for, show us your teams. Jake, Ethan, what teams do we have to take a look at now?
All right, here we go. Week 14, time for you, Ethan, to show everyone in the world your teams here in week 14. That's right. We got 5 teams to take a look at here today, Ethan. And there's a couple here that resubmitted some teams that did early on in the season. So let's see how their team is looking. But I mean, I couldn't deny them. Some of the artwork here, there's some next level artwork in a few of these.
Some big winners in terms of just pure artistic ability.
You better freaking believe it. So let's go ahead and are you ready just to dive right in? You have anything you want to say?
I'll be honest with you, Jake. I miss you, buddy. Last week was magical.
It was. I mean, at this time, you were like touching my cheek at this point last week.
Unreplicatable, Jake. But let's get into it. Show us your teams.
All right, here we go. First team from Matt Hanan. Hanan. Which one?
Hanan.
Are you sure there's 2 N's there?
Hanan.
See? Exactly. All right. We have Saquonathon here, which is a 12-team standard, 9-4 in first place.
Okay.
At first, I paid no attention to like the little squiggly line underneath until I realized that those were the wins and the losses. Now, they actually add up to 9-4. So now we know what weeks he won and lost. Creative. I just caught that about 5 minutes ago. Full disclosure.
Wow. I saw it immediately, Jake, but I am very
not
astute.
How my brain works. Yeah.
I am very astute to these types of details.
You're an ass something. Absolutely. All right, here we go. Let's look at this team. So we have our Twitter handles, and Kyle didn't make the list this week.
Good. He shouldn't make the list.
Let's see what else we have. We have our hashtag Headliner Nation. Saquon is the only player left on my roster from the draft. Wow. Let's see if we can look at this team, because honestly, I don't know if it was like, is there whiteout involved or those dashed lines on the side where the trades are at? Because there's some brightness there because I can't really see Swift's name, but I barely got it. Let's look at the team. We got Trevor Lawrence, T-Law, who you and I saw bent like a pretzel last week.
Yep.
Saquon,
but he's fine, apparently.
Apparently, somehow. Who knows how. Yeah. Saquon and Christian McCaffrey.
Dang.
Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase.
My word.
David Njoku, Travis Etienne, On the bench, he's got Hollywood Brown, George Pickens, DJ Moore, Samaje Perine, Evan Ingram, Zonovan Knight, and Justin Fields as well. Got J.K. Dobbins on the IR. A few of the trades he's made here. I'll rapid fire through them. You can just tell me whether you like them or not. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. He sent Najee and Michael Thomas for CMC.
I like that.
Like that for sure. How about sent B-Rob and Olave for Swift?
It depends on, well, it was week 6. So
yes.
Swift, I'm not sure I love
downhill.
That. I think we'll see. I'm hoping that last week was, kind of a thing for Swift to becoming more productive towards the end of the season. Really rough patch in the middle there. We'll see how that one turns out. Right now, I'm going to say it's a push.
Sent Geno and Kareem Hunt for Dak and Bateman.
This would have been right around when Bateman got hurt. I'm going to guess it was before. I don't know exactly. I can't remember off the top of my head what week that was.
Me neither.
I'd have probably just stuck with Geno and Hunt.
That's right. I probably would have too.
It's hard to read it.
I know.
Really light green colory.
Sent Dak and Waddle for Herbert and Chase.
Okay, that was pretty good.
I like that.
Never mind. I take back the Dak trade from previously. If you turned him into Herbert and Chase, that's a win.
That's okay then, for sure. And then week 11 sent McLaurin, Swift, Herbie, and Rashad White for Devontae Adams.
Okay, I'm not sure that I love.
That's a lot for Devontae Adams. That's a lot,
but it's a 1 quarterback league, so he's got T-Law,
and he's still got Fields on his bench.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you're fine then. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. This is a good way to use quarterbacks to just really stack your position groups, because Swift isn't probably playing much with Barkley and McCaffrey. You got ETN, you've got Samaje Perine.
You had Chase, you got Adams, stuff. So you didn't need McLaurin.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, the starters for this team, Ethan, maybe one of the best teams we've seen all year.
Definitely.
When Justin Fields comes off a bye and you start off with Fields, Barkley, McCaffrey, Adams, and Chase, that right there that's tough to get past.
That's going to be tough to beat.
I like the team overall. I like the presentation, kind of a little bit of a Christmas theme there with the wins and the losses being, green and red.
Yeah.
I like the overall colors. Some a little hard to read. Love the team. I'm going to give this team right here is a solid A team, Ethan.
This is an A team, Jake. And I have a question, Jake. Do you think our names are intentionally like our favorite? Do you think he thinks you're a Browns fan?
That's red and black.
It is?
That is red and black.
It looks orange to me.
That is red and black.
Maybe it's just my screen.
And yours is black and gold. So you know what?
I think it probably is our favorite teams.
I mean,
that's A for effort, man. That's solid.
He's verge A+ with all this effort.
There's a lot of like little subtle things about this.
There's there's Easter eggs in here.
Yeah. Like even at first I thought maybe the Sequanathon was just kind of like, like pretty quickly done. But I think those are like little accent marks. Like I think he intentionally made the letters look like that.
It's impossible. That's possible.
It's looking that way, man. Like I'm thinking A to A+.
This is pretty close.
Jake.
This is pretty freaking close.
This is a great submission. Thank you, Matt Hannon or Hannon, whichever one you go with.
That's right. All right, next one. Now, this one is a team that we have seen in the past before. When it was, Ethan, I have no freak. It could have been earlier this year.
Hard to say.
Could have been last year. But I know at some point in my life, I have said Hamtown, Slamtown on this show right here from Joe Hamilton.
Are you sure it was on the show?
I don't do shows with anyone else where I look at teams.
Well, I'm just saying you could have said that phrase in other contexts. Jake.
Oh, I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I say that,
Slamtown.
Every Thursday night around 9:30 p.m. when the kids go to bed is when I always say Hamtown, Slamtown. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's a different story.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. This is going off the rails.
Ethan. All right. So it's a 10 team. He's in 4th place at 7-6. It's a full PPR league. Is this written on a whiteboard?
Looks like it.
I couldn't tell if it was a whiteboard or a piece of paper with like one of those like fine Sharpie pens.
Yeah, it could be it looks like it's on like a Sharpie, like a regular plain piece of paper. But if it's on a whiteboard, Jake, he took this photo with what I can only assume is a 30-inch.
The world's largest phone.
Yeah, a 30-inch screen, a Mack.
Either way,
Pro
even if it's a piece of paper, that's still a large shadow.
That's a big shadow, Jake. Like that's a really big shadow.
That's an iPad.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. All right, let's look at this damn team.
Something.
He says he's 9 of 10 on the waiver priority. He has a smiley face that says insert headliner logo here. He didn't draw the logo.
Okay.
See, Twitter handles are right.
Yes.
No Kyle on there, so you're not going to be upset.
That's good.
As our hashtag, we got Kyler as the quarterback off his bye week. Derrick Henry and Ramondre Stevenson season. We're good. We have Mike Evans and Amari Cooper. Slightly worried. Love the names. Slightly worried about the offenses.
Yeah.
You got Zay Jones as well. With Conklin, Sutton in your flex, going to have to get Sutton out because Sutton probably isn't going to play, Doc.
Yeah, not expected to play this week.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, he does have Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the kicker.
So, I mean, that right there, bonus points.
You know that's right.
On his bench, we got Kyron Williams, Michael Carter, Joe Mixon, Tua, Nico Collins, and the Brownies, who he says he's going to drop. Good, because you don't need to carry 2 defenses, and you're not starting the Browns this week against Joe Burr. But my question here is, why do you think it's because officially Mixon hasn't been activated yet off the concussion protocol, and that's why he's not in his flex spot right now?
Yeah, but I think he's practicing full this week.
Yeah,
so
he's already practicing full. So
he's going to be coming in at some point. Really worried about I'm not worried about the running backs at all. Really, the team's pretty okay there. But man,
I'm worried about wide receivers.
We're going to need some help on wide receiver here pretty quick. Like, I'm not feeling good about that third, especially when you're starting 3 of them.
Yeah, and there's no one on the bench other than Nico Collins.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it for you. So if you're dropping the Browns, I'm hoping you're picking up a wide receiver.
Exactly right. And if you have an IR spot, throw Sutton into it and pick up another one.
Yeah.
Overall, like you said, I like the quarterback options. The wide receivers, Evans obviously just isn't racking up point totals like we were hoping for. A lot of that going towards Chris Godwin right now. Even, Julio Jones taking some of the pass catching running backs, and Rashad White and Leonard Fournette taking away some volume from Mike Evans. Zay Jones, I actually really like Zay Jones. As a player, I like Zay Jones for what he brings to a team, like the role that he plays. For fantasy football purposes, he's very boom or bust, and he's either going to score you like 18 or he's going to score you 3. Yeah. He's not a consistent 10 to 12 point a week guy. So overall on this, like I said, we couldn't tell if it was a whiteboard, a piece of paper, world's largest phone, whatever. Being that we're a little bit worried about the wide receiver options here, Ethan, I'm going to go with a B- and tell him he's got to work on wide receiver quick.
Yeah, I think it seems like you're in a good enough spot to make the playoffs. I just worry about what that looks like when you actually get there.
Especially since Amari Cooper could struggle with Deshaun Watson relearning how to play quarterback.
He barely knew how to throw last week. Yeah. I don't know if anybody watched that, but it was terrible.
We watched
it together. Did we just say that at the same time? Dude, we're vibing.
We're just
we're vibing.
We are connected.
You know it.
That's
it. I agree with this, Jake. I'm going to go C+ because I'm just worried with the wide receiver depth. I think he needs to do some work on the waiver wire, especially if you probably don't have time to make a trade. So
that's right.
I'm going to go with a C+, hoping for a B-, maybe a B if everything goes right.
Perfect. Here we go. Next one. Mealy's Monsters.
Mealy's.
Is it Mealy or Melee? Is it Melee's? Melee's Monsters from Bobby Aho.
Bobby. I think it's Bobby Joe.
Bobby Aho is way cooler, Ethan. Come on.
Nope. I think it's Bobby Joe.
It probably is Bobby Joe, but Bobby Aho is what I'm going to call him for the rest of the show.
But then it sounds like a-hole, that's kind of rude.
That just makes it more fun to say.
Shout out to Bobby Aho.
I'm not calling them an Aho. I'm just saying. Anyway, on to the picture. We have a little Mike Wazowski. Yes, I have kids, so I know exactly who the hell that is with the Monsters Inc. logo.
Yeah.
We have our headliner nation here at the top. We have correct Twitter handles down the bottom left-hand corner. Once again,
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't put his name over mine.
I tried to, but it would have been in an awkward spot.
It's a habit.
Let's see here. Week 14, 8-5 with a 5-game winning streak. Either number one.
Oh, wait a second, Jake. Yours is not correct.
Oh, there's an
right.
A in it.
Yeah.
There's no A in my fantasy.
Jake's.
I got no A.
He's not about that A in his fantasy world.
That's right.
Yeah, there's no A in fantasy headliners. The first A is silent.
I wonder who's going to go follow the wrong account now.
Oh, but I feel bad for them.
Do you ever get followers off of Twitter from this?
I would assume so. I think actually Bobby Aho may have followed me this week to
or
make
Bobby
sure
Joe.
that, yeah, so that he would see if we talked about his team here. So let's do it. Let's talk about these squad.
Let's look at it. So it says either number 1 or 2 from number 3. You're smarter than I am. I don't know what that means.
Wait, what is that?
I don't know. Look right under where it says week 14, 8-5 streak of 5 straight. Either number 1 or 2 from number 3.
He's saying he's on a 5-game winning streak. He's either going to be the first or second best team in the league, but he was at number 3 because he had a huge week 13, 173 to 123 victory. So he's probably tied with somebody, like maybe at 9-5. And I'm going to guess he's tied with somebody and he's got the tiebreaker on points.
Okay. I hear you.
I had to guess that's what he's saying.
Way to sound
But
smart.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Way to sound smart. All right. We got Jalen Hurts. Is there an extra Y in Jalen's name?
I don't believe so. It looks like he kind of added it, but he wasn't sure about it either. So like,
he's like, if I just smush it in here, maybe it'll not draw
maybe they
attention
just won't
to it.
Make fun of me for it. We will.
We will.
Bobby
We still
Joe.
will. There's no Y in Jalen. We got Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
With a little sun.
Oh, that's what that is. I'm like, why did he just highlight certain vowels? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of little suns.
It does. We have Keenan Allen, TJ Hawkinson, Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, Evan McPherson, and the Cowboys defense. On the bench, we got Deshaun Watson. We got Isaiah Pacheco. There was an extra word. There was an extra letter in there somewhere at one point.
Yeah.
Samaje P. Ryan.
It could have been Pinocchio or Pacheco.
It could have been. There could have been. We're going to say it was an I. Then we got Rashad White, Traylon Burks, DPJ. Waiver claims. These are the 5 that he has in order. Tyler Huntley, Corey Davis, Mike White, Dalton Schultz, Demarcus Robinson. And then down here, I'm gonna try to read this, Ethan, but my camera is frozen. Hold on.
No, Jake.
Hold on. Let me
We've
fix
lost Jake.
I'm right here. Hold on a second.
I will read it for you.
You read it while I'm fixing this.
Okay.
Okay, there we're back.
He has 5 waiver claims: Huntley, Corey Davis, Mike White, Dalton Schultz, Demarcus Robinson. Reasons to keep these players away from my opponents, mainly quarterbacks and tight end, but looking to
use Corey
Davis. Not sure if he better than what I have. Who to drop? How are you making all these waiver claims without picking somebody to drop?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, looking at your team, I'm probably not dropping anybody for the guys that are available.
What do you think about? Why would you? I don't mind Dalton Schultz.
No, I mean, I don't mind grabbing Dalton Schultz at all. He has TJ
I feel
Hawkinson.
like that's value on the waiver wire, but I don't know if I'd drop anybody specific. Maybe Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm just the Deshaun hater up in here.
Well, we all know that you were 150% correct with all of your takes on Deshaun Watson last week. So I feel like you can take a small victory lap here.
I'll take a small one, but I can't. It's not going to be a big lap, Ethan, because I can't run that far. But yeah. Dude, I ain't run since
it's been a while.
Yeah, since I was in high school and somebody chasing me, probably. Deshaun Watson, I have no interest in holding on to. I'm probably not going to start him in the fantasy season because it's going to take him just that long to get back into game speed. So yeah, Deshaun Watson is probably an option there to drop. I don't really think I want to drop anybody else.
Yeah, I'd consider maybe DPJ.
Maybe
for
Schultz
or Corey Davis. I would like to get those 2 guys on my team in some way, but
well, maybe he
I don't
can
know why
both.
you're making so many waiver claims. That's like, how are you making so many waiver claims without having people to drop? Is it just to
Don't do
I don't
that.
know how that would work.
Now,
so I'm
he
a little
has
confused
Kenneth-
by the strategy there.
He has Kenneth Walker in his flex. That's not going to be a good sign here this week.
Yeah, not going to look good there.
You want Pacheco or White?
I'm probably going Pacheco.
You didn't sound too confident about that when you said Pacheco.
Yeah,
You had to think about it.
I had to think about it.
He goes against Denver. Denver is easier
defense
to run on than it is to throw on. So it's easier for them to run.
I'd still probably go Pacheco.
Can I ask you a quick question off topic?
Yeah, hit me.
What is the likelihood, and I want a percentage number, that Andy Reid gives us the virtual finger this weekend and a goal line carry goes to Melvin Gordon and he steals a touchdown from Isaiah Pacheco because they're playing against Denver?
Well, if there's one guy that would like to absolutely pound it into the end zone without fumbling, it would definitely be Melvin Gordon. But
what percent chance is that going to happen?
But I do think, for just hilariousness sake, if he were to get that opportunity and also fumble at the goal line, that not only would it be hilarious to witness, and also probably the saddest thing I've seen. That's not true. I once watched Cody Parkey hit the upright 4 times in a game in person. That was the saddest I have ever been for a football player. But besides that, if he were to fumble, would that be the end of his career? It'd be close, man.
It would be dang close.
Like, I think they'd drop him.
Yeah. I mean, I would, if you're given a shot like that and then you fumble it, and especially if it affects the outcome of the game in any way, that would probably be the end of it. All right. Overall, this submission right here, Ethan, before we get too off topic, I'm going to go ahead. I like the artwork. Concerned about what the waiver claim situation is here overall. Yeah. We got to get Kenneth Walker out, but overall, I'm going to say this is a solid B submission here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with B+ because I do think the artwork is high level. There's a lot of little things. I like the little check marks next to the the names, the little crosses, the guys that are hurt. I appreciate those cues. I'd have given him an A-, but he did mess up your handle, and at least I'm assuming that this is a female or a male submitter.
Is it Bobby Joe or Bobby Aho? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know about the Aho, if you know what I mean.
If you know about the Aho, you know. All right.
So overall, I'm going to go with a B.
All right. Perfect. Here we go. Next one now. Let's go on to Sam X Swiss, SP3 on Twitter, who has drawn the Sam's Club logo. Now,
we're not sponsored by Sam's Club.
Not sponsored.
We will be.
Should be sponsored, but not sponsored. We should be. Are you team Sam's Club or team Costco?
I'm not a big box store guy, just because I just don't really have any kids or any space to put large quantities of things.
Can you humor me and pick one?
I would probably go Sam's Club because the closest Costco is like 2 hours away from me.
Perfect. Going team Sam's Club here. We got the hashtag Headliner Nation, a 12-team half PPR. I don't know the Sam's Club logo offhand, but when I saw this submission, I feel like it looks pretty freaking close to it.
It's pretty good.
I think it is.
I would say that's pretty close.
But what really drew my attention to this one, Ethan, is the handwriting. Look at how consistent the handwriting is throughout.
Really good.
It if you just just look at it from the side angle, you're like, oh, that's pretty good handwriting. You know what I mean? Like, it looks pretty good. The handles are right. There's no A in my fantasy. You're good. We're good there. A 7-6 record, 4th place. Also a Chargers fan. So let's see what the team looks like. Justin Herbert, JT, Kenneth Walker. I'm already worried here. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Travis Kelce, Ramondre Stevenson. And on the bench, you got Tua, Sanders, Hunt, Dillon, Williams, and the Seahawks. Well, right off the bat, and I'm sure this was submitted before you've made some of your changes, Jonathan Taylor is on a bye week. Kenneth Walker is hurt. Jalen Waddle is banged up and hurt as well. Whether he plays or not, we still, at the time of this recording, do not know for sure. Yeah. So right off the bat, you got to make some changes at running back. Ramondre Stevenson needs to go in for Jonathan Taylor. Miles Sanders needs to go in for Kenneth Walker as of right now. So at least you have a starting lineup. And then you need to find another option for wide receiver because you don't have anyone on your bench that you can slot in for Jalen Waddle just in case, unless for some miraculous reason Mike Williams returns.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. The problem is, I'm assuming you're dropping the defense.
Yep.
You're dropping the defense to get a
dropping
guy.
the
defense to get the guy. And yeah, you're going to need somebody because I don't think Mike Williams is coming back this week.
You know what I might do, Ethan? Maybe this is a big brain thought. Maybe it's stupid. You will tell me, I'm sure. So if we're going to drop the Seahawks defense without looking at this guy's league, we can't really give him any recommendations on who may be out there.
Mm-hmm.
But one name in deeper leagues that I find myself, even a couple of mine that I paid attention to, was Trent Sherfield. So if Waddle sits, Trent Sherfield he's already proven that he can have a role in that offense. There's still a big play guy. And that way you have somebody from the same game. If Waddle does sit, you have Sherfield to throw in.
Yeah, I dig that.
Okay.
I think that's, I don't think it's too big brain. The thing is when you're picking up an emergency flex like that, I lean more towards the guys that can boom on one play. I don't necessarily want the Braxton Berrioses of the world that are going to get me like 3 or 4 targets for sure, but they're all going to be pretty low in targets. I want the dudes like the Sherfields of the world. They're going to come in, maybe even like a Terrace Marshall. He might have been dropped. A DJ Chark type, somebody that can just catch one pass for 50 yards and a touchdown and may not get as much, more boom bust there. But if he hits, you're going to feel like a genius.
Heck yeah.
And it's probably going to hit for way higher than like the really low end, consistent 30-yard, 3-catch guys that are out there. And there's loads of those guys out there that you can pick up. So I'm with you on that, Jake.
Perfect. Love it. Now, overall, the artwork, the team makeup, struggling this week with the running backs, of course. But overall, this is still probably
good team.
It's a good team. I mean, it's an A- team for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go B+, but I don't think that the team is bad at all. A little heavy on the running backs. I would have probably, if we had gotten this team at like week 9 or 10, I would have probably been trying to package a couple of those running backs and maybe with Mike Williams and try to get a locked in wide receiver upgrade. But overall, I think the team's really good.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, here we go. Last one then. Another resubmission back from week 3 when the artwork was great.
Gracious.
It's Team Bucknado from Troy Green, who has put together a damn masterpiece right here, Ethan. Got lots of color. We got organization.
Man.
I mean, there's a lot going on right here.
I feel like this is like a NFL Network graphic. Like, this is serious.
That's pretty damn close. I mean, he's got the Headliner Nation, a 10-team full PPR. He's in second place at 10-3. So, I mean, he's in a good spot right now.
Good team.
He's got a good team. He's got our Twitter handles. Are they right? Yes, they are. We are good. Now, I'm going to fire through these once again because there's been a lot of damn trades, Ethan. I'm talking about a lot of trades.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me whether you like them or not. We'll try to rapid fire through to keep this not a 40-minute segment. Let's see. It says trades made before since the week 3 submission. Right before the week 3 game, I traded Najee for Henry.
Is it Najee or Natty?
Both.
Or Natty.
Natty.
Oh, there is a little, very faint, little
tip down there at the bottom.
Like a little tip.
Yeah.
You just need a little tip to make all the difference.
Sometimes the tip's all that matters. Week 4, he gave up.
I like that trade, by the way.
I do too. Week 4, he gave up Justin Herbert, Antonio Gibson, DK Metcalf, and Drake London, and got Lamar Jackson, Terry McLaurin, and George Kittle.
Well, he has Mahomes at quarterback, so
yes.
I'm not seeing Lamar Jackson on this.
He was probably
team.
traded in one of the upcoming weeks.
So we'll just I think that trade is okay. It's not my favorite one. He's
not my favorite either. Week 5, Melvin Gordon and McLaurin, he turned into Zach Ertz. Okay. Week 6, Christian Kirk.
That one looks worse in hindsight. Well, like he has Kittle, so I don't really know why he's making that trade in week 5. That seems like a reach to me.
Exactly, because then he would have had both of them.
In
week
that
6,
doesn't make any sense.
Traded Christian Kirk for Garrett Wilson.
I like that deal.
I don't mind it now. that we have Mike White.
But at the
time, I would rather have Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
Week 7, got Montgomery, Kirk, and Robinson for Keenan Allen and Elijah Mitchell. At the time, I liked that.
I'm confused. I thought he just traded Kirk for Wilson. Did you have Kirk or Wilson?
Oh, yeah. Maybe he meant to have.
Are we backwards on these?
Maybe he got traded Wilson for Kirk? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he traded.
And then
Wilson
the next week he traded Kirk, Montgomery, and B-Rob for Keenan and Mitchell.
Okay. And
then traded Keenan, J-Rob, and Hines for Mostert and Ayuk.
All right. I get that trade in week 9 with Keenan being hurt. You probably need something going on. You want Ayuk. Makes sense.
J-Rob wasn't doing anything. Mostert was actually doing something back then for the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Naheem Hines was probably on the way close to going to Buffalo pretty soon. Yeah, I get it. Week 11, you traded Jonathan Taylor and Elijah Mitchell for CMC and Swift.
Okay, that is a good trade.
That I like.
I like that.
Also in week 11.
Full PPR, that's I think that's pretty fair.
Well, it didn't last very long because in the same week, he took Mostert and the newly acquired DeAndre Swift and traded him for Kenneth Walker.
Okay, that is probably, I'm okay with it. Because at that point, you're looking at like 7 straight weeks of either no production or minimal production from DeAndre Swift.
Right.
So at least Kenneth Walker was giving you something. Like, it looks worse now.
Now that he's hurt, right? Yeah, exactly. And then once again in week 11 was a busy week. Traded Lamar, A.J. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Doomtar.
Yep, Doomtar for Mahomes, Tyreek, and Cooper. Mahomes, Tyreek, Cooper. I mean,
I think I'd still rather have that left side.
It's hard to not want.
That's a pretty fair trade.
Brown. Yeah.
But I feel like AJ and Amon-Ra are better than Tyreek and Cooper. Like, if I just, Lamar for Mahomes, like, I get it. Lamar got hurt. So you ended up winning this deal long term. It's better for your team. But I'm just saying, if we're looking at it in a bubble at the time, AJ Brown for Tyreek, that's probably fair. I'll say that's a wash. I would not trade Doomtar for Amari Cooper.
No.
And I would probably not trade. I think Lamar and Mahomes is probably a wash too. So it's close, but it's not. I still think I'd rather have that left side. But knowing what I know now, I'm glad he made the deal.
Exactly. So overall, this is what his team looks like today. He's got Mahomes.
Ooh, that was exhausting. Lots of trades.
Yeah, so many trades. Dude out there just making trades, left and right. Then he's got Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins.
That's
I like that.
Solid.
Henry and CMC.
This is okay. This is a good team.
George Kittle at tight end. Kenneth Walker now is his flex, which he's going to probably have to switch out. But on the bench, he has Amari Cooper, Christian Watson on a bye. He's got Pacheco, Ayuk, Jeff Wilson, Hunt, and then IR has Cooper Kupp, J.K. Dobbins, and Jamison Williams, who's going to have to probably come off of his IR if he makes any changes because he's now eligible. Right off the bat, not quite sure how come Pacheco, Ayuk, Hunt, and Kupp and Dobbins didn't deserve to have their first names on the sheet.
None of these guys. Well, Jeff Wilson, Jamison, probably because there's multiple Watson, Wilsons, Williams.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
And that's my personal rule too, Jake, when I'm writing team players down, is if it's very clearly one person specifically, then I don't really write their whole name out. But if it's something like Jay Williams, like there's like 5 Jay Williamses in the league. So, or like you can't just put Watson, because I would probably assume that means Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Now I see the thought process there.
I don't really understand Amari Cooper being written out all the way, but we'll just let it slide.
That's the one name on here that doesn't prove your theory.
Yeah. I don't like, he had a lot going for him, and I'm not really sure how Amari got his whole name written out.
Okay. Perfect. Now, who are you taking out, or who are you taking off the bench and putting in for Kenneth Walker?
Oh man.
I feel like it's either got to be Pacheco or Ayuk. Pacheco probably a little bit safer.
Yeah, I'm probably going Pacheco.
I probably am too. If it's my team, I probably am as well.
Yeah.
Overall, though, Pacheco. Mahomes, Tyreek, Hopkins, Henry, CMC. That right there is a a malicious top 5, right? That top 5 can do some damage.
And it should have been even better because he had Cup on the IR. So
wow,
he made a really good team. Had to make a lot of deals to make it happen. Won some, lost some. I think that's pretty normal for guys that trade as often as this.
Yeah, and overall, love the team. Love the submission. Love the depth you have. You got plenty of options there to go around, even with some bye weeks. We didn't even talk about the upside of like the Christian Watsons out there. Great overall squad. This right here, when you take everything into account, Ethan, this is A to A+. The only reason this is probably not an A+ for me is because there's the confusion there with the trade at week 6 and 7 on whether it was Garrett Wilson and Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's a little confusing and what if we got I don't think we got them all wrong because he ended up with Mahomes, Tyreek, and Amari Cooper. So I'm assuming he's gaining the guys on the right side. I don't see Garrett Wilson on this squad or traded anywhere else. So I'm assuming that those were backwards and he did make a mistake there. I'm not going to knock him too much because this is a high effort submission, Jake.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like we should reward
I gave him an A.
submissions.
I gave him an A.
That's an A+ performance right here.
Okay. I mean,
it's an A+, but it's like a 97 out of 100 A+, not like 100 out of 100 A+.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like he got one wrong, but overall, very, very good.
Very,
still
very
an
good
A+.
Okay, I got you.
I don't know if that's how they grade things in Carolina, but in Illinois, you can still get an A+ at like a 97.
We homeschool, so we can just give grades as we so choose, Ethan.
Yeah, well,
numbers,
whatever works.
Numbers, letters, Roman numerals, whatever we want to do. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Anyway, that was Show Us Your Teams here for week 14. We're getting dangerously close now to asking for playoff team submissions, Ethan. So pretty soon here.
I think next week. Yeah. Like
for a lot of people, it's next week.
Yeah.
A lot of people is next week. Some are going to be week 16, but we'll start asking for those next week. So make sure you stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter because every Tuesday I drop that tweet asking for submissions. So if you want to get in, now is your chance to drop your team. We thank you so much for the support, but that's going to do it for Show Us Your Teams here in week 14.
Woo! There were some good ones there. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button for us on the way out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your Friday or Saturday whenever you're watching this. We'll see you on the live shows this week. Peace out. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch y'all in the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.